Right now this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris back in the Coulee region yesterday. We'll have a recap of her visit. And it's Foodie Friday. We're brewing up some fun with Java Vino. We'll have all those details.
Plus, fire danger still elevated for our local areas. We're also going to be seeing breezy and gusty conditions out there. I'll have more about that coming up in your QuickCast.
Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Friday, October 18th, 2024. Casual Friday for some. He said I was dressed casual today. I had to call him out on that.
Yes, but it was a lovely casual. I was like, I wish I could be a casual as that as well.
Feeling good on this Friday, right?
Feeling good.
Waking up feeling a little bit chilly.
Yes, it is a bit brisk out there for the kids. The winds are going to stir up as well, getting out there. So let's get into it as I walk on over here. She was like, leave me alone. As we get into it this early morning, we're all a little bit goofy this early morning. We have the elevated flight risk, and most of that is also dropped down a little bit from what we had yesterday. And we had the red flag warning that was in play yesterday. Remember all that red that was on the screen? Now it's yellow. So we have an elevated, I was going to say it again, an elevated risk for fire danger. Here locally for us in the highlighted areas, we're looking at more of a puke green there. It's more along the lines of just, hey, we've got the weather watch in play here. This could happen. It's possible because we have the winds, we've got the dry conditions, and of course we have the warming temperatures. That being said, take a look at your local temperatures, holding on to clear skies and 47 degrees for this morning for the kids going to school. Eventually by the 9 o'clock hour going to the 11 o'clock hour, temperatures go widespread in the 50s. We'll pick up at least by 1 o'clock 64 degrees. The sunshine will be with us pretty much throughout the day. Here's a look at the winds right now. That's what they look like. Those are sustained winds getting up to 18 miles per hour in some cases. And as far as the gusts are concerned, we're going to be picking up these winds going right through the day. Everybody's picking up something, and that continues on, going up to 24 miles per hour. And in fact, some cases from 18 to back to 22. It's going to be wide range today. And of course, it'll be much breezier west of the Mississippi. When I come back, we'll talk more about the drought. In fact, maybe a little bit of rainfall that may try to get down to the ground here locally. But for now, back to you.
Vice President Kamala Harris was back in La Crosse yesterday rallying young voters at UWL. The event, held at the Recreation Center on campus, drew about 3,000 attendees. The visit marks Harris's second trip to La Crosse this year, her first as the presidential nominee. In her speech, she addressed issues including Medicare, housing, and the economy.
Together, we will build in that future what I call an opportunity economy, which is where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build wealth. Under my plan, and I know this is a big deal for the young people here, we will bring down the cost of housing.
Joining Harris was billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban, a known supporter of the Harris-Walz campaign. He's calling the election a battle for entrepreneurship and small businesses.
Kamala Harris wants to grow the number of small businesses in this country from 33 million to more than 50 million. She wants to do it because she knows that small businesses drive this economy.
This was one of 3 stops Harris made in the battleground state. She also campaigned in Milwaukee and Green Bay. The Wisconsin GOP responding to Harris's visit with a statement criticizing the current administration's economic policies, claiming voters were better off 4 years ago under the Trump administration. And early voting in Wisconsin begins Tuesday. Local leaders are working to inform residents ahead of that. Former Governor Tommy Thompson was at Onalaska's City Hall yesterday, highlighting the importance of early voting. He was joined by several GOP candidates, including Ryan Hipsch. This push comes as both major parties aim to mobilize voters ahead of Election Day. Now to a potential turning point in Israel's war in Gaza. The Israeli military says they've killed Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind behind the October 7th attack that killed more than 1,000 people. That date sparking a retaliation from Israel that has now killed tens of thousands in Gaza. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest reaction and what this could mean going forward.
Celebration in an Israeli town just outside of northern Gaza, hours after the country's military says it killed the man behind the October 7th attacks. The IDF says a drone captured this video of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, the last moments of his life, masked and injured. According to Israeli officials, dental records, fingerprints, and a DNA check confirmed his identity. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
While this is not the end of the war in Gaza, it's the beginning of the end.
In 2011, it was Netanyahu who released Sinwar from prison. For the last year, he's believed to have been hiding in Hamas's tunnels under Gaza, while war raged above, killing more than 42,000 people. Palestinians living in the rubble left behind are speaking on his death. There is nothing left for them, says this woman. There is no reason left for them to continue the war any longer. President Biden, landing for meetings in Germany, said he's sending the Secretary of State to Israel to discuss what happens next.
It's time for this war to end and bring these hostages home.
About 100 hostages, dead and alive, are estimated to still be in Gaza. With Sinwar's death, families and supporters pressed Israeli leaders to bring them home, fearing the worst.
He kills them all. Yeah.
But holding out hope for their return.
It's still not clear what Sinwar's death means for the future of Hamas. U.S. officials say as part of any ceasefire hostage release deal, they want to see a path forward that sets conditions for reconstruction in Gaza and a political path forward for Palestinians. And back here closer to home, the trial for Adam Fravel, accused of killing Winona mother Madeline Kingsbury, will continue this morning. Opening statements started yesterday, with attorneys reviewing an April interview between Fravel and investigators. During that interview, Fravel's comments about the Gabby Petito case were discussed. Investigators also noted scratches on Fravel's face and neck. The prosecution continues its presentation this morning. A man is in custody following a shooting in Winona. Police responded to reports of gunfire on West 10th Street, where they found a man with a gunshot wound. The victim was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and 27-year-old Cole Cameron arrested for first-degree assault. Winona police say Cameron and the victim were allegedly involved in a verbal argument before the shooting. The mother and boyfriend of 3-year-old Elijah Vu now facing new charges in the child's death. The Manitowoc District Attorney's Office announced yesterday Katrina Bauer, that's Vu's mother, is charged with chronic neglect of a child resulting in death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer. Her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, faces charges of physical abuse of a child and hiding a corpse, among others. Elijah Vu was reported missing on February 20th. He was found dead last month in a wooded area.
This is an incredibly tragic situation that has shaken our community. My thoughts and deepest condolences go out to Elijah's family, who are enduring unimaginable pain.
Bauer and Vang have both been jailed since soon after Elijah went missing. Some good news now for La Crosse residents. Curbside leaf collection is headed your way. Starting Monday through November 15th, the city will pick up leaves placed within 3 feet of the curb. Keep leaf piles away from trees, cars, streets, and storm drains. Leaves should be loose, not bagged. Other yard waste will go to Isle La Plume. Some looking to cash in on cannabis are frustrated now that the process of getting an early license is delayed in Minnesota. Caroline Cummings reports on the holdup and the business owners left in limbo.
Inside this corner of Minnesota's capital city, Nicholas Ron wants to operate a dispensary selling legal weed, not just the low-dose hemp THC products on his shelves today. But for now, he's still uncertain if he'll have the green light to do that.
So everything is riding on this license right now.
The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management is sifting through 1,800 applications of people who qualify as social equity applicants like Ron, eligible for early approval for cannabis licenses, allowing them to get a head start before the anticipated market launch next year. The next step in the process is a random lottery to choose who gets the licenses, from retailers to growers. The office scheduled the drawing for this fall, but now says they're aiming for before the end of the year.
I've already talked to a couple banks, and the one that I currently use, they've already said that yes, I would be approved for a loan, but I need the license first. So I can't do any renovations until I get that license. So literally, like I said, everything's riding on this license.
The early pre-approval process for licenses was a new provision lawmakers approved this year, in part so there's actually something to sell. Angela Dawson, a hemp farmer who wants to grow cannabis, is concerned that this license limbo will mean detrimental delays in supply.
The window for growing early in Minnesota has passed unless you have a building built already.
She was also planning on putting seeds in the ground this fall if she got the early license, but that hasn't happened yet. Like Ron, she also says she's frustrated.
Without having a license or not even knowing where we are at in the license process, it doesn't really make sense for us to, build on the infrastructure, to get the materials and equipment, which is not cheap.
The Office of Cannabis Management says reviewing applications to ensure they meet requirements is more time-consuming than they were expecting. The time now is 6:10. Still ahead on your morning news. Weekly jobless claims fell last week. Activists are protesting artificial dyes in Kellogg's products. And the list of the most expensive U.S. zip codes is out. We'll share the numbers with you coming up.
It's time to take a look at your current health plan. I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with money-saving tips during open enrollment.
For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Get your frosting fix because today is National Chocolate Cupcake Day. Fun fact, the cupcake was originally known as the 1, 2, 3, 4 cake as a simple way to remember the basic recipe. That's 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs. Never knew that. In the 19th century, most cupcakes were either vanilla or chocolate. The small cakes, of course, since evolved, you can now get many flavors, just about any flavor, even some crazy flavors, right? Well, happy National Chocolate Cupcake Day. And as we leave you, heading to break now, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the farm to fork capital, that is Sacramento, California. Stay with us, your morning consumer news is coming up.
Make your tailgate tail great at Hy-Vee. Pork spare ribs, $1.49 a pound. Bone-in pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And select pork chops, 99 cents. Save in-store and online, Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WinSenate is responsible for the content of this message.
I have had the privilege of working with an exceptional team to install over 12,000 home improvements for local homeowners in the last 35 years. Now it's time for me to spend a little more time with my bride of over 50 years. Fortunately, I found an experienced remodeling contractor and corporate project manager to lead the board store into the future.
And with an outstanding team by my side, I am proud to lead this amazing company my dad has built. And we look forward to continuing to serve you with the great value that is the board store trademark.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
If you want selection, then that's what we've got at King Furniture. More mattresses. Did you know you spend a third of your life sleeping? So you better have the best mattress you possibly can. And we have those here at King Furniture with a huge selection to choose from in every price range. Lay down and relax. Take the time to find the exact mattress you want because you're going to be sleeping on this for a while. King Furniture. Nice people, nice furniture.
National Democrats have been a disaster. Higher prices, open borders, making our communities less safe. They can't run on their record, so they try to distract you by lying about abortion.
Here's the truth. I oppose a national abortion ban. Early in a pregnancy, women should have the right to decide. We should allow for exceptions. And finally, the people of Wisconsin need to decide this issue, not politicians in Washington.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth, Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost $200 grand electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook. A liberal recipe for disaster. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Make your tailgate tail great at Hy-Vee. Pork spare ribs, $1.49 a pound. Bone-in pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And select pork chops, 99 cents. Save in-store and online, Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
All right, and away we go. Taking a look at your local temperatures right now. Going into the 7 o'clock hour, you're looking at clear skies with 47 degrees for your local temperatures. 50 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour with a whole lot of sunshine, quite comfortable. And then carrying over right into the 11 o'clock hour to 1 o'clock, you're looking at temperatures going from 58 to 64 degrees. Comfortable indeed. Still a little bit breezy and gusty out there. You can see the winds, as I mentioned before, up to 18 as you go into Rochester and then eventually Preston there. La Crosse already at 12 miles per hour, getting up to Eau Claire at 9. This will continue to increase with these winds coming out of the south. And as that happens, you're going to see by 6 o'clock hour, we're looking at 19 miles per hour. And that will continue to push up as we go through the day. By 2 o'clock, you're looking at winds around, say, 22 to 26 miles per hour out there. Then we'll hold on to 6 o'clock. You're looking at winds from 18 to at least 22 miles per hour. And then eventually by the 9 o'clock hour, well, winds are still kind of chugging along, at least about 22, about 23 miles per hour in the forecast. Drought conditions still holding on. All this yellow right here, abnormally dry conditions. You get down into the tan, you're looking at least, or like the light brown, you're looking at least a severe round of drought right there. And then, of course, as you go right into this lighter tan color, you're looking at the possibility of at least moderate drought. So that's what's going on right now. Not a lot of rainfall in the forecast for us as well. So breezy and brisk and clear this morning. We're looking at today breezy and gusty winds with warm 70s out there. There is a little bit of rainfall trying to get across the Mississippi, but it's not going to do that. It's going to maybe bring some extra clouds. So with that, by the time we get the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock hour, we'll see some clouds kind of bringing in the picture. Temperatures for today, though, 69 to at least 72 degrees. And then we're going to see warmer conditions on the way with limited amounts of rainfall. Okay, that's back to you.
In your consumer news this morning, weekly jobless claims fell last week. The federal government reporting first-time applications for unemployment benefits decreased by 19,000 to 241,000. That even accounts for the effects of Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Economists expected those events to push claims higher. Meanwhile, continuing claims, or those who have filed for unemployment for at least 2 weeks, rose by 9,000 to 1.87 million. Activists are rallying at Kellogg's headquarters to protest the food company's use of artificial dyes in its foods, particularly red dye number 3, which, according to data from the National Library of Medicine, causes cancer in animals. A petition created that gathered more than 170,000 signatures asking to remove artificial food dye from its children's cereal was presented. In response, Kellogg says its ingredients are compliant with all relevant laws and regulations. The list of the most expensive U.S. zip codes is out, and one is the reigning champion, 94027, topping the list again for the 8th year in a row, Atherton, California. The median price of homes sold there in the community is nearly $8 million. It's followed by 2 New York zip, where median home prices are nearly $6 million. California leads the country with 7 zip codes in the top 10. 78% of the top 100 are in the California Bay Area, Metro Los Angeles, and the New York City metro area. Millions of Americans get health care coverage through their employer, and millions more are covered by federal programs, including Medicare. This is the time of year to take a look at those coverage plans and see if you need to make any changes. Jill Schlesinger has some advice for open enrollment.
It's open enrollment season, and small changes to your plan could save money. Start by creating a list of your doctors and prescriptions and determine whether they are still covered under your current plan. If your company offers it, investigate a high deductible health plan, which, in exchange for that higher deductible, offers lower premiums. To save for the larger deductible, the plan is paired with a triple tax advantage health savings account, meaning that the money that you contribute into the account goes in pre-tax. The earnings grow without taxes. And when you pull the money out, there's no tax due. If you leave your job, you can take your HSA with you and even use it decades in the future. If you're 65 or older, Medicare open enrollment is also underway through December 7th, and there are big changes for next year. The most important one impacts those who have Part D. That's the prescription drug plan. In 2025, out-of-pocket costs for medications will be capped at $2,000. But be aware, there could be increases in other parts of coverage, like co-payments and deductibles. Additionally, there will be fewer choices for standalone drug plans. Go to Medicare.gov to see whether your prescriptions are included in a plan and how much they're likely to cost.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Time now is 6:20. Let's check in with Art for a look at our forecast.
All right, and away we go. Let's take a gander at what I've got going on for you. Brisk conditions on the way for us this morning. And of course, that carries over into the afternoon where those winds really begin to kick up. We'll get those gusty winds out there, warm 70s, drier conditions for the weekend though. And of course, the temperatures are going to bump up even more so. Widespread 70s to around 80 degrees as we get into Sunday. That being said, we do have this fire controls going on right now for elevated risk for fire danger, and that continues on. Right now, you don't see anything here because we are in right now, which is a fire weather watch. That being said, we'll hold on to the potential for that fire danger. As you can just see, it just dust up with the wind so strong, getting up to 45 miles per hour on west of the Mississippi. Those winds could really dust up quickly. All right, that being said, current temperatures 40s, 50s right now, mixing in 39, still holding on to Black River Falls. Not much really trying to relinquish that cold air they have, or chilly air for them. You're going to see these temperatures continue to gradually warm through the morning hours and get you up into the 60s, then possibly the 70s as we go into the afternoon. Warm conditions pretty much settled in as this ridge of high pressure continues just to still kind of roll right out of the Great Basin, and we're going to keep this heat kind of trekking a little bit more to the east, as you can see, holding on to those numbers even though we've got cooler air pressing in from the north trying to get closer to us. Warm conditions will ensue as we go into Monday, with temperatures still holding on to the 70s, and then eventually that all begins to break down going into Tuesday, and then eventually by Wednesday we get back into the mild. We're going to see eventually temperatures warming up though as we go into the next 8 to 14 days. Temperatures above seasonal average. You can see that ridging right there underneath that rainfall trying to get closer to us today. We'll only so we'll find ourselves with rainfall sticking over to areas west of the Mississippi. Then we get the clouds out of it here though. Then we continue on. You're looking as you go right into Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's a good looking day. Winds are light, but they're coming now out of the west-southwest, and eventually you'll see those winds continue to press a little bit more so, bringing up or ushering in some more of that rainfall as we go into Tuesday. It begins to break down. It had some chance of getting closer to La Crosse and down to our south, but it broke down. And then to the north, rainfall and cloud cover trying to get in, but you see by the time we get into Wednesday, you see that coming from the north and sliding all the way down to La Crosse and then taking out of the way with colder air associated with that, and up and out it goes. That's a look at your forecast for that. That drought monitor, as I showed you here, continues on with abnormally dry conditions, and as far as highs are concerned today, we'll see them to be breezy, gusty, sunny, and warmer. Those temperatures widespread in the 70s, and then we'll touch them as we go right back into areas for the next couple of days. 70s continue to bump up as we go along Saturday into Sunday with around 80 degrees, and then back into the 70s to finish out most of the beginning of next week. Back to you.
Wow, an 80 on there. Thank you, Art. Still ahead on your morning news are false alarms keeping you from vital breast cancer screenings. Coming up, why doctors say skipping your mammogram could be a life-threatening mistake even after a false positive.
Coming up in sports, we crown some conference champions. Big action on the volleyball court, plus the MVC Cross Country Championships. All of that coming up in the Morning Blitz.
Right now at International Furniture, get store-wide fall savings on all the brands you know and trust. Fjords, Durham Bedroom, Norwalk, Hooker, Flex Steel, and Hancock and more. Hurry in today for the best selection and savings. International Furniture, I-90 Exit 2, La Crosse.
Racist and offensive. Ryan Hipsch's social media history tells us who he really is. In one post, Hipsch said that he wanted a hat with the N-word embroidered on it. In another, Hipsch aims a rifle and comments that he can't wait to kill Muslims using a slur. Then wrote, LOL, that was racist. And that's just the beginning. Hipsch's social media posts are full of degrading terms for women and people with disabilities. Tell Ryan Hipsch that his agenda is too extreme for the Cooley region.
We forge steel bars that hold up bridges, propel ships, and send rockets into space.
But for years, China's been lowballing their prices, so it's been tough to compete.
We can't let China steal Wisconsin jobs, so I wrote a law to require American infrastructure projects use American American iron and steel.
Tammy Baldwin got President Trump to sign her Made in America bill.
And then she got President Biden to make it permanent.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
Tammy Baldwin has our back.
Welcome to the most honest commercial you've ever seen. Not the cleanest, just the most honest.
Today, we're fixing a home's foundation.
I mean, that is like the most common thing to see in the world.
Pretty common, yeah.
Right.
So it's the soil that's eroding away, causing those cavities, those voids that the foundation then wants to settle into.
And then you guys with your superhero capes show up and fix everything.
Yes, sir.
Get a free and honest inspection with Innovative Basement Authority, a Groundworks company.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth? Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost 200 grand electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook. A liberal recipe for disaster. Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Right now at International Furniture, get store-wide fall savings on all the brands you know and trust. Fjords, Durham Bedroom, Norwalk, Hooker, Flex Steel, and Hancock and more. Hurry in today for the best selection and savings. International Furniture, I-90 Exit 2, La Crosse.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Conference champions were being crowned last night. A bunch of big volleyball matches. But first, we're going to start on the cross-country trail as one of the best runners in the nation was going for an MVC title. Let's go to Maple Grove. Onalaska's Manny Putz, a two-time state champ, hoping to make it 3 in just a few weeks. But first, he had to take on the MVC field. Right to the front of the pack he goes. And I mean, just look at his pace. Sprinting. Nobody near him down the final stretch. Through the finish line in 14 minutes, 56 seconds, winning by nearly a minute. But it's a bittersweet day for the senior as it's his last race on one of his favorite courses.
I'm gonna miss just knowing every single inch of this course. You know, I've ran this like a handful of times. I just know when to kick, what time I should be at this location. I know where the bumps are, you know. It's just like home to me. This is our home course, so I'm gonna miss it.
In second place was Aquinas' Declan Gregg, who put together a good run, but it was the Holman Vikings winning the team scores. They would have 5 in the top 15. And in the girls' race, some pre-race hugs and high fives. Holman hoping to defend their title. And Sabrina Lechner was owning the court. She would take first in 1923, winning her 3rd MVC title in as many tries. Emily Bagnevsky and Sanjana Musafer would go 2-3 to help the Blue Golds take second, but the Vikings would finish with 5 in the top 7 and would take first in very impressive fashion.
We just are really supportive of each other, and we just push each other every day during practice to be better, and we're really good friends, so it just helps.
Cross-country sectionals set for next weekend, and the state meet will take place on November 2nd. Over to West Salem, Cooley Conference volleyball action. Panthers already locked up the conference title, but they were looking to finish the season a perfect 12-0 in Cooley play, hosting Arcadia. Raiders starting off strong in this one. A line drive from Caitlin Bremer through the block for the score. Point Arcadia. West Salem, a bit of a slow start, but Addison Ferguson, she's able to get it through the block for a kill. And then later, McKenna Ely wants to get some points on the board, but Tatum Druskowski says not today. A huge block for the Raiders, but West Salem would flip a switch. Ely again with the attack, able to put it past the block, taking the first set for West Salem. Panthers go on to win 3-0, finishing perfect in conference play. 24-6 overall. They'll be a 3 seed in the Division II playoffs. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like 10 packs of Grabber head warmers, just $5.99. This Stealth Cam 360 trail camera, only $129.99. Hit the road with 5 quarts of Citgo SuperGuard full synthetic motor oil, $17.99. And all Fram oil filters are 20% off for rewards members. Gear up for the hunt and save at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth? Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost 200 grand electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook. A liberal recipe for disaster. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees. Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
We need real working people in Washington.
What a phony. Cook spent the last decade working as a political operative. Earned her money helping defund the police radicals like Mandela Barnes, the most anti-police candidate in Wisconsin history. Now, Cook won't let you protect your family. She wants to ban the most popular rifle in the country, earning an F from the NRA. Rebecca Cook, phony insider, dangerously liberal.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Is your home missing the warm glow of a fireplace? You want one, but you're not sure where to start? Contact LaCrosse Fireplace Company today. We'll design more than just your heat and glow fireplace. We'll help you pick the perfect stone, mantle, and hearth, making your heat and glow fireplace the focal point and cozy gathering space of your home. Stop into our showroom for inspiration or give us a call for a free in-home estimate. LaCrosse Fireplace Company, Mormon Coulee Road, because your place is by the fire.
He thinks he's better than us. Derek Van Orden said, I don't give a who you are. I'm a congressman. So it's no surprise Derek Van Orden would cut Social Security and Medicare and give more tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. We earned those benefits with every paycheck, but Derek Van Orden thinks he's better than us. Don't let Derek Van Orden cut Social Security and Medicare. Your community PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland.
As in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor. Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it,
Wisconsin cheese.
but it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
It really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Welcome back. In your morning medical news, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the third Friday of October is National Mammography Day, highlighting how critical mammograms are in detecting the disease early. New research shows false positive on mammograms are discouraging women from getting future screenings. The study shows only 61% of women returned for follow-up screening. Dominic Garcia has more.
To understand the latest study out of UC Davis, you have to know what a false positive is. In this case, it's when a woman goes in for a mammogram and doctors see something that needs additional screening, just to make sure.
We found that women who have these false positives, they had to come back for additional imaging. Sometimes they had to come back for a biopsy, but they didn't have cancer.
You might ask yourself, what's the problem? Better to be safe than sorry, right? But Diana Migloretti, professor and division chief of biostatistics at UC Davis, found that women with false positive results were less likely to return for a follow-up screening.
So it can be a very stressful period for a woman because she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks she might have cancer. And then she goes in for that imaging, sometimes even a biopsy. doesn't have cancer, she might feel like, oh, that was a big waste of time.
Health professionals want women to know that this can happen. And if you are called back for a follow-up, it's completely normal.
It's really important for women to understand that it's a normal part of the screening process. It's a frequent part. 10% of screening mammograms require this additional imaging. It almost always turns out to be normal.
False positives can happen for reasons including breast density and normal variations in breast tissue. Migleretti says doctors should explain false positive results, reassure patients, and stress that continued screening is critical.
Younger women are more likely to have breast dense tissue, which is why they have a higher incidence of false positives on mammograms. Happening tomorrow, lace up your walking shoes and think pink. Oakwood Mall in Eau Claire hosting its Just Think Pink Breast Cancer Awareness Walk. That walk will start at 10 a.m., followed by a vendor event till 3. Pre-register on Oakwood Mall's website, and if you raise $20, you'll receive a VIP walker pack with some coupons for the mall. Proceeds support Susan G. Komen's breast cancer research and community efforts. And get ready for an exciting weekend of events in the Coulee region and Chippewa Valley. Celebrate Halloween early at the Field of Screams Family Fun Days. Carve and paint pumpkins, get lost in the corn maze, and try to keep your cool on the haunted trail. From art in the wild to adventure films, La Crosse Adventure Festival has it all. Check out the unique adventure experiences, follow a guided hike, and get some ideas for the nature photo contest. And embrace the call of the fall weather at the St. John Fall Festival. Check out the raffle, the big ticket drawing, and don't forget about the cupcake walk. A La Crosse business owner is reeling in big money for local youth. Al Lewis hosted his annual Al's Muskie Challenge, raising over $200,000 for youth organizations here in the Coulee region. That is double the $100,000 goal. Lewis says he values the time volunteers spend with young people as they develop into future leaders.
I don't realize how much they do. They expend a lot of time, a lot of energy, making sure today's youth have a chance, because today's youth are tomorrow's leaders.
People can donate all year round. If you'd like to donate, you can visit our website for a link. Time now is 6:36. Let's check back in with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett for a look at our forecast.
All right, and away we go, holding on to still fire danger working through the area, but it's only just an elevated risk here. As you can see, working on the forecast here as you go west of the Mississippi. They're going to still see some breezy and gusty winds up there, possibly getting up to at least 35 to 45 miles per hour still, believe it or not. But for us, we're holding on to a fire weather watch, and that means that it could possibly happen, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Current conditions right now, 40s and 50s out there as well as the forecast is concerned. 37 still happening for areas by getting into Black River Falls. You're also looking at, well, not much in the way of fog because of the winds already stirring up, and so that's kind of mixing things out right now. Sunshine is on the way, though, as we get through the sunrise time. You're holding on to temperatures getting up into the 60s as you go into the noon hour and beyond. And La Crosse doing the same thing today. Plenty of sunshine for the kids that are headed to school there, and then getting into the afternoon, it's looking pretty nice. Here's, in fact, the school report for you for the kids for this forecast. Sunshine for you going into the same thing for La Crosse, and of course a little bit brisk out there for the kids going out there. But of course we've got fall colors heading out. If you get into the weekend to go check those out, it's going to be fantastic. Get out and enjoy it if you can. All right, back to you, my friend.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Preston's turning 8 years old today. He loves being at school and on the wrestling team there. Dinosaurs, he loves them too, and reading.
And Berkeley's turning 18. He loves playing basketball, and today is his golden birthday.
How about Mel? He's turning 88 years old. In fact, he loves doing yard work and visiting with his family and friends.
Happy birthday. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, that's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look at the Submit Pictures button on the Home tab on our website.
Coming up, discover how Java Vino is redefining the cafe experience in La Crosse. From espresso to Cabernet, they've got your day covered.
Make your tailgate tail great at Hy-Vee. Pork spare ribs, $1.49 a pound. Bone-in pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And select pork chops, 99 cents. Save in-store and online, Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WinSenate is responsible for the content of this message.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Are you thinking about new windows and doors? A new bathroom, a new kitchen? Maybe a sunroom, siding, or a deck. Get started today with special savings while we celebrate serving homeowners for over 35 years. While we celebrate Danielle becoming the new general manager.
And celebrate Dad's 80th birthday.
Best products.
The best people.
Best prices.
35th anniversary at the Board Store.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
This illegal immigrant was recently arrested in southwestern Wisconsin for a sexually violent attack on a woman, a suspected Venezuelan gang member who entered the U.S. just last year. Unfortunately, Steve Doyle supports sanctuary cities that protect criminals like this, and Doyle opposed sending resources to secure the border to keep dangerous criminals like Alejandro Jose Coronel Zarate away from our families. Steve Doyle's failures are destroying Wisconsin lives. Steve Doyle, unwilling to secure the border, unfit to serve.
He thinks he's better than us. Derek Van Orden said, I don't give a who you are. I'm a congressman. So it's no surprise Derek Van Orden would cut Social Security and Medicare and give more tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. We earned those benefits with every paycheck, but Derek Van Orden thinks he's better than us. Don't let Derek Van Orden cut Social Security and Medicare. Your community PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Make your tailgate tail great at Hy-Vee. Pork spare ribs, $1.49 a pound. Bone-in pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And select pork chops, 99 cents. Save in-store and online, Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
All right, and away we go for your local weather. You're looking at conditions to be like this. We're going to start off with the possibility of, again, just a brisk morning, and it's going to be clear out there this early morning. We're also going to see the wind stir up as well, so that means not much in the way of fog this early morning. Getting into today, though, breezy and gusty winds, warm 70s on the way. And then once you get into the forecast for this weekend, it's going to be dry, warmer, and of course, the weekend we could see 70s and maybe an 80 or so for the forecast. That being said, we still have the elevated risk for fire danger west of the Mississippi. For us here locally, we have just the threat of just holding on to a fire weather watch. It's watching to see if that can happen. A spark could just really snap up with our winds getting up to 25 miles per hour. We could see that spark up very quickly. Current temperatures, though, we're 40s, some 30s, some 50s out there. It's a mix right now as we transition into warmer weather. The sunshine is going to be replete with our forecast today, getting into from the sunrise time all the way to the 1 o'clock hour. You get into it, warmer conditions on the way, still holding on to our forecast for this afternoon and beyond. We'll carry that over into Saturday and to Sunday with cooler air trying to press on us, coming out of Canada eventually. That's going to really just start working its way coming out of the plain states as well and try to take us back into the cool. But for now, it's not going to happen. We're holding on to those warm conditions going on for the next several days. Rainfall is going to be meager, working through the area, maybe 1/100 of an inch, if that at all. And then, of course, we're going to be seeing that continue to just kind of wane as we go right into Sunday. Monday, clouds increase, picking up a little bit of extra potential for rainfall, trying to come back again from Canada, sweeping back to the north and down. You can see it kind of coming in from the northwest and then sweeping down on top of this right over La Crosse as well as Eau Claire and Ladysmith, and up and out it goes. And that is pretty much Tuesday night going into Wednesday. Drought conditions, though, so not much change going on there. Today, we are abnormally dry. Highs for today, looking at widespread 70s with an upper 60 in there from time to time. Of course, we'll also see the sunshine, the breezy conditions. And here's from today going all the way into the next several days. as we're looking at our next couple of months or so, we're looking at these days that are coming up, our holidays, looking pretty good for you. And in fact, we've got this coming in for you too. How about some extra sunshine and some warmer temperatures on the way for you, carrying over into the weekend and beyond, going to Monday and Tuesday possibly, with some increasing clouds from time to time into the evening and overnight hours. But again, we're looking at ourselves with temperatures still holding on to warm, and then we get back into the mild by Wednesday, going to Thursday and Friday. Have a wonderful day.
Today on Foodie Friday, we're joined by Java Vino, a unique spot that takes you from your morning coffee to your evening wine. We're joined by a manager and a chef this morning to tell us a little bit more. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here.
Morning, morning.
So for people who have not been, just tell us a little bit about Java Vino and the inspiration behind it.
So a lot of people think that Java Vino is just a coffee shop, but we're a lot more than that. We are a full wine and cocktail bar, coffee shop, table service restaurant, with a pretty awesome happy hour. And we even have a drive-through on the east side of our restaurant that we can serve our barista beverages and hot sandwiches through as well.
Okay, yeah, sounds and looks like you've got it all going on.
Yes. All right, so tell us, what do we go for? Let's talk about your food. And what'd you bring today?
So today we brought our loaded smoked pork hash, and that's sweet potatoes, russet potatoes, onions and peppers, and then we smoke our own pork in-house. We also offer that dish with chicken that we smoke in-house. And then we have our harvest salad, which is beets, butternut squash, red onion, goat cheese, and candied almonds drizzled with local honey and balsamic glaze.
Okay, looks and smells amazing. And you have a pretty extensive menu. I was looking online. You have a lot of stuff on your menu, all 3 meals, is that right?
Yep, we serve food from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m.
Okay, all right, yeah, you are an all-day affair. And on the go, as you mentioned, you do have a drive-through. So, and what you said you can get 2 kinds of things there?
Yeah, so we have our, you can order your barista beverages, seasonal favorites. We have a Mary Chef that we installed a few years ago now, I believe, and can do hot sandwiches. A lot of customer favorites are right on that menu. Otherwise, we have a pretty awesome Toast online ordering system where customers can place orders 15 to 20 minutes ahead of time and stop in through our drive-thru when they're in a hurry. We can also do drinks on there as well.
Okay.
And in Wisconsin, it is now legal to get cocktails on the go. So that menu, as long as they're safety sealed, that menu is available on there too.
Oh, okay, good to know. Driving home from work.
A little gift for me from New Orleans. Thank you very much. Hey, I've noticed you guys have older folks that are riding bikes around there, but you also have a place for little kiddos to play.
We do, yes. It's very uncommon for a restaurant, for sure, but it's something that we've gotten stellar reviews on just for parents with little kids. They, it gives them a chance to kind of relax while their kids are busy. We just ask they keep an eye on them so other customers can enjoy their time too. But yeah, we've heard good things about it too.
Yeah,
so.
It really seems like there's something for everyone there. Always appreciate a place for the kids to run around where you can kind of, let them be. Any events? Do you guys have any events coming up?
We're doing a wild game dinner November 16th.
Okay.
So this is going to be our 3rd one, and the entire menu, it's a 7-course dinner.
Wow.
5 different types of wild game, and every year I kind of pick a theme to go with, and this year I'm trying to incorporate more fruits into my dishes.
Okay.
Just because the acidity of fruit really is a nice contrast against the gaminess of the meats. So
yeah, well, that sounds great. We've got that information there up on our screen. And then quickly before we go, we know a lot of places hiring, hard to find staff this time. So are you guys hiring? Any job openings?
We're always looking for experienced breakfast cooks.
Okay.
And that's really about the only spot I'm looking for at the moment.
Okay.
And I did just open up our bartending position so you can look on our website for that application link, but those hours are at night typically, aside from the weekend during the day.
Yeah, okay, and great to go. And before we go, what is your website?
JavaVinoLAX.com.
Okay, and you guys have a lot of information, menu, pictures. I've been checking it out. It looks great. Well, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Stay with us. We're back right after this.
Hello to you, I'm Gail Kane. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, we've got a special Kindness 101. Steve Hartman and his kids are going on a road trip to visit students who are putting their lessons to good use. There's Meryl, that's nice. Plus Vlad sitting down with the cast of Blue Bloods at their signature dinner table. This is ahead of the 14th and final season of the hit CBS drama, Oh No, It's Coming to an End. That's coming right up, though, on CBS Mornings.
Racist and offensive. Ryan Hipsch's social media history tells us who he really is. In one post, Hipsch said that he wanted a hat with the N-word embroidered on it. In another, Hipsch aims a rifle and comments that he can't wait to kill Muslims using a slur. Then wrote, LOL, that was racist. And that's just the beginning. Hipsch's social media posts are full of degrading terms for women and people with disabilities. Tell Ryan Hipsch that his agenda is too extreme for the Cooley region.
Eric Hovde has a problem with the truth. Time and again, his ads have been called false. He's a desperate candidate, willing to say anything. But here's what's true. Eric Hovde has a plan to slash Social Security 28%, Medicare 25%, veterans benefits 40%, all to spend $4 trillion on tax breaks for rich guys like himself. Eric Hovde's lying, and he's not for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Derek Van Orden's in trouble, and the special interests are bailing him out. Just look at who's paying for all these ads. Big banks, insurance companies, drug companies. Because Washington insiders want to restrict health care access and let insurers deny people with pre-existing conditions. Millions would lose coverage. Wisconsin's fed up with Van Orden and Washington insiders. We want leaders who will fight for us.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and I approve this message.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
When Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth? Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost $200 grand electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook, a liberal recipe for disaster. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
With Tammy Baldwin, we've gotten extreme policies that are hurting our families. Baldwin voted to let boys compete in girls' sports, and she co-sponsored a bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men. Worse, Baldwin's bill would force domestic violence shelters to admit biological men, even though survivors say it would cause significant trauma for women in those shelters. Tammy Baldwin has endangered Wisconsin families. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome back. It's 6:52. The trial for Adam Fravel, accused of killing Winona mother Madeline Kingsbury, will continue this morning. Opening statements started yesterday with attorneys reviewing an April interview between Fravel and investigators. During that interview, Fravel's comments about the Gabby Petito case were discussed. Investigators say they also noted scratches on Fravel's face and neck. The prosecution will continue its presentation this morning. Israel, meanwhile, says the Hamas top leader and longtime commander in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, was killed by troops during an operation in the war-torn Palestinian territory. Confirmation of the death of the mastermind of the October 7th terror attacks came from Israel's foreign minister following DNA testing. Vice President Kamala Harris back in La Crosse yesterday, rallying young voters at UWL. The event, held at the Recreation Center on campus, drew about 3,000 people. The visit marks Harris's second trip to La Crosse this year, her first as the presidential nominee. In her speech, the vice president addressed issues including Medicare, housing, and the economy.
Together, we will build in that future what I call an opportunity economy, which is where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build wealth. Under my plan, and I know this is a big deal for the young people here, we will bring down the cost of housing. Joining Harris was billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban, a known supporter of her campaign.
Cuban calling the election a battle for entrepreneurship and small businesses.
Kamala Harris wants to grow the number of small businesses in this country from 33 million to more than 50 million. She wants to do it because she knows that small businesses drive this economy.
This was one of 3 stops Harris made in the battleground state. She also campaigned in Milwaukee and Green Bay. The Wisconsin GOP responding with a statement criticizing the current administration's economic policies, claiming voters were better off 4 years ago under the Trump administration. La Crosse residents' curbside leaf collection is headed your way starting Monday through November 15th. The city will pick up leaves placed within 3 feet of the curb. Keep leaf piles away from trees, cars, streets, and storm drains. Leaves should be loose, not bagged. Other yard waste will go to Isle La Plume. And some weekend events to tell you about. Celebrate Halloween early at the Field of Screams Family Fun Days this weekend. You can carve pumpkins, get lost in the corn maze, and check out the Haunted Trail. From art in the wild to adventure films, La Crosse Adventure Festival has it all. Check out the unique experiences, follow a guided hike, and get some ideas at the Nature Photo Contest. Embrace the call of the fall weather at the St. John Fall Festival. You can enjoy raffles, drawings, and a cupcake walk.
It's fire season. All it takes is a spark, and boom, we could see this fire just kind of begin to build as you get into it. We've got the winds, the dry brush, and of course the warming conditions. Temperatures widespread in the 70s today. The possibility of temperatures to continue to warm as we go through the next several days, not out of the question. 70s widespread to around 80 degrees, possibly continuing on for Monday as well. And then we drop it off gradually going into midweek of next week and then back into the mild.
Thank you, Art. Earlier in the week, you may remember seeing a police officer getting run over by an inflatable pumpkin. Here it is. Boom, there he goes. He's not the only officer getting a surprising Halloween call. Take a look at this. An officer from the California Highway Patrol pulled over a man who was using a skeleton as his carpool buddy. The officer later wrote them a citation and sent them on their way. After the incident, CHP said in a Facebook post, quote, "While spooky season is upon us, it's important to remember decorations being transported in the passenger seat do not qualify to meet carpool requirements." Especially with a face like that. Kind of scary, huh?
I used to do that, but I had Bill Cosby next to me.
You did. Yeah, people in Atlanta do that too, right? In California, I'm sure you got to get in the HOV lane at any cost, even a ticket. Thank you for starting your morning with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your Friday.